Welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the main card fights for Bellator 226, Bader versus Kongo. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight that I'll be predicting on the main card. So in our first fight, we have the featherweight tournament first round bout, Claxton versus Emmanuel Sanchez. So this is in the featherweight division. They started up a featherweight tournament. I guess they saw what they did at the welterweight division and in the heavyweight division. So they're starting one in the featherweight division. But yeah, let's look at these two matchups though. We got Claxton versus Emmanuel Sanchez. You got a guy who's 5-0 in Claxton versus a guy who's 18-4. An experienced guy, Emmanuel Sanchez, who has fought champions, former champions, and has put on a good performance in every single one of them. I think he hasn't really beat a former champion yet. Oh, he did beat Daniel Straus. He kind of dominated Straus though. So he has beaten a former champion, but never became the champion himself yet. Got into that matchup, but just came up short. So he's a game guy. He's about as a veteran as you can be, about as experienced you can be, been up there without winning in the title. So he's been around, been around the streets a little bit. You can find a better term, but that's basically, he's experienced, he's seasoned, he's game. And he's still sharp. He's not some guy that's over the hill. He's still sharp, still getting better, still improving, and has fought the cream of the crop. Now you got Claxton, a young fighter coming in here, wrestling background, not an NCAA All-American, not no NCAA champion, not no Olympic champion, nothing like that. But you can certainly see the athleticism and the skill on him, how fast he can explode, how much range he can control. It's very explosive, very athletic, very game, very fresh. Guy to look out for. In this fight, I was leaning toward Emmanuel Sanchez at first due to his experience and due to his physicality, his skills, and stuff like that. But then I started looking more into it. You're going against a wrestler who's that physical stuff really don't work against wrestlers. You can't be that big dude against wrestlers, especially not a young and hungry wrestler. Maybe an old kind of worn, tore down wrestler, but not no young wrestler because they got the technique and the strength. It's not just strength with him. I think Sanchez does have technique, but I see a lot of times he gets over by just being more physical and just muscling the guys around. I don't think that's going to happen with Claxton. The Claxton, the faster fighter, the more athletic fighter. I think he can exploit a lot of Sanchez's tendencies to try to be that big bully in the fight and to show him there's different levels to this game. I'm a top-notch wrestler. I'm a D1 wrestler. You're this MMA fighter who kind of has some wrestling here and there. It's a difference. But yeah, I'm not too sure how many rounds they're going to have. I think in the last tournament, they were like 5 rounds for every single fight because every fight was like kind of a title fight or something like that. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I just definitely think if it's a 3-round fight, that's really favors Claxton because he could be explosive within those 3 rounds and get away with it with over 5 rounds. Getting been explosive too early and then man gas in that 4th and 5th round, that's going to be very dangerous for him because Sanchez, he's strong throughout. He's not a guy that's going to gas and just be not fighting. He's going to fight you through all rounds. It's 3 rounds, 5 rounds, 10 rounds. He's going to be fighting until you put him away or he puts you away. So that's something that definitely comes with his veteran experience and comes with the type of fighter that he is and his mentality. But like I said, this is a fight. This is a sport. And I think Claxton can, within those rules that he can kind of exploit it with his athleticism, get some takedowns, be explosive, be hard to hit, and be a very tough style and tricky for Sanchez. So in this fight, I think that Sanchez will be game. He'll be trying to land some big shots. Going to be hard to really land some real clean shots against an athletic fighter like Claxton, especially with him, the threat of the wrestling always being present. I think with the takedowns that Claxton's going to be able to edge the decision on the fight, like win some rounds with the takedowns, steal some rounds with the wrestling. But it's going to be a very competitive, gritty fight. But it's going to be a fight, I think, that Claxton can show that he's here to be, he's really here. He's not here to just be here. He's here to be a factor. Because if he could beat Sanchez, he's already in that title picture. Now, I mean, in this tournament, by being in this tournament, you're already in the title picture. Because if you could win it, all you got to do is win these fights and you're the champion. But yeah, either way, he's going to be in the picture. I think if he can win this fight. I think, like I said, I think it's physicality versus actual technique, true technique, grappling technique with wrestling. But I'm kind of saying too much a little bit here, but what I'm trying to say is that wrestling technique is something different. It's different levels to that. I'm not saying Sanchez doesn't have technique, but as far as that grappling, that physical, trying to be that physical guy against a wrestler, I don't think it's going to really be factoring well for him. But competitive fight nonetheless. But I think Claxton's explosiveness, his athleticism, his freshness, along with that wrestling pedigree is going to be what really edges the fight for him. Competitive and close, but the takedown, the wrestling is going to be it for him. So in this fight, I got Claxton via decision. Now to our next fight we have this fight is also in the featherweight tournament. I didn't even know that. But yeah, we got Curran versus Boric. So this is a very interesting fight right here. Kind of a change of the guards, even though the guard might have already been changed low key. But yeah, Curran, even though he's only 32, it seems like he's much older. But it's because he has such a difficult career. He's not a guy that's never ever ducked anybody or tried to take an easy route. he pretty much had the hardest route you can have outside of UFC as far as competition. He fought like Straus like 3 times. Had some brutal fights with Straus. In those second and third fights, brutal fights. Getting dropped, rocked, and concussed several times within the fight. Those pit bull fights were not easy fights. And those guys, like pretty much the other 2 best guys in that division, he fought them both multiple times. Fought Eddie Alvarez, fought this guy, fought that guy. So he's pretty much fought like literally everybody you can fight in in his weight class, like from between featherweight and lightweight. He fought just about everyone that is somebody over a very short amount of time. And like that wears on you, especially getting concussed in these fights and not giving up. He's not a guy that's going to quit. He get dropped, get rolled over his own kneecap, and then drop, pop back up, still be game. And I think that's kind of wore on him. Plus the injuries he's been getting is the late. I think he's still a very solid fighter. And in his last fight, he didn't look bad, but he didn't look good. So going against Adam Boric, who's a young fighter with that length, that freshness, I think it's going to be kind of not really work out too well for him. I think he does have the technique. He kind of upset Boric. But again, right now, the length of Boric, steadily able to, like the flexibility with that length to be able to get his knee up, is going to cause Curran a lot of trouble because Curran kind of stands straight up. Not going to be fighting a guy that's taller than him. Be able to walk him into some knees, especially with that questionable chin, that worn down chin. I think Boric is very sneaky, very long, very game, very technical. And he can walk a guy like Curran into a lot of things. And Curran, like I said, with that being worn down like Ken, if he gets walk something he don't see, that could be be night for him. I think it'll be a very game fight. And also another thing about Curran, I did see that Boric fight that against what's his name? I forget it, Pico. He did get taken down rather easy. It wasn't easy to hold him down, but it was rather easy to take him down. But still, he was able to get held down for portions of the fight. But Curran does have some solid wrestling, but he's never been a guy that just take you down later. So he's not even going to be his style, especially at this point in his career. I don't think it will work out for him to be a lay and pray type of wrestler. So regardless, I think Curran's not going to really bring the style that may be necessarily to beat Boric. But he will have the full cardio. He is much more well-rounded fighter than Pico. So I think he'll be game. He'll be in a competitive. Like I said, I think the youth and the freshness of Boric is just going to be too much. I think at some point, Boric is just going to start to break away. Like I said, with that youth, that freshness, he's going to be able to push it longer, push a higher pace that Curran can't really get up to anymore. So I think the fight goes on, he starts to break Curran down. I think he stops him kind of in the late portion of that second round. So in this fight, I got Adam Boric via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight tournament as well, we got Daniel Straus versus Derek Campos. So looking at this fight, you got Campos. Striking can be solid sometimes. Definitely got some power in his punches. Definitely look athletic, explosive at times. But he kind of becomes a brawler a lot of times. Leave his chin. Matter of fact, his chin got a very long face. The chin be right there all the time. Rarely ever blocks, and this relies on his toughness to get through fights. He'll take a punch to give a punch, swing some shots. And I don't think that's going to work too well against Straus. And one thing I think that can work for Campos is he's able to be the more physical, stronger fighter in the fight. It depends on how. Because sometimes Straus does get muscled around in some fight. And could Campos do that? I'm not too sure. But on the feet, as far as technical, I think Straus is the much faster fighter, much sharper fighter with his punches, much more accurate. And he's not a sloppy, like, kind of lead with his chin fighter. So he can definitely catch Campos on the chin. He's going to give his chin out there for Straus. And I think Straus can take full advantage, tag him up. And I don't think Campos can take too many of those punches from Straus. But if the fight goes long, Campos will have an opportunity. Like I said, he might turn into more physical. He certainly is a fighter that can push a pace. We've seen Straus kind of cardio kind of look questionable at times. So we never really seen Campos' cardio look questionable. He's a game fighter. He might not be the most technical, the most pretty fighter, but he is a scrapper. And if the fight goes long, it can certainly shift. But it's who's the more technical, who's the more cleaner fighter? It is clearly Straus. But if Campos could take it into those later rounds, he can potentially drown him. But I think it's going to be stopped within the first 3 rounds. So it's not going to go too long. So I think it happens in the second round where Straus stops Campos. I think Campos is going to be leaving that chin out there too much, and eventually going to get caught, tagged real clean. Straus is going to finish him up. And when Straus sees blood, he puts you out, and then he's going to put him out there in a second. So in this fight, I got Daniel Straus via second round TKO. Now to our main event, we have a heavyweight world title bout, Ryan Bader versus Cheick Kongo. So Cheick Kongo is getting another title fight, a long-awaited title fight. His last fight was years ago, but I think he hasn't lost since that title fight. He lost maybe one fight, but really been consistent since that last loss. Shown some improvements here and there. But all that being said, I don't think he's improved that much. He's never really truly fixed his style to defeat wrestlers. He never really fought a wrestler and then show, I had to have the solid takedown defense, the ability to get back up and beat a wrestler. Hasn't really shown that. He might have beat Minikov in his last fight, but Minikov didn't really implement much wrestling at all in that fight. More so a striking fashion, more of look at you fight, kind of a lazy, slow kind of pace fight, which not the most grappling. But Ryan Bader's a light heavyweight in his prime, and he's going to be pushing the pace with that wrestling because Ryan Bader, unlike a lot of other wrestlers, he still remembers. I mean, he still knows that he's a wrestler first before anything. He might knock some people out, but he knows if this guy's bigger than me, this guy hits hard, I'm going to wrestle him. And he has the ability to wrestle and chain wrestle for what seems to be the whole entire fight. Like he can do that for the entire fight. Maybe his gas tank isn't that big as it look, or he makes it appear. But he has shown the ability to be able to wrestle for a long period of time. And you really haven't seen him look tired from his wrestling, like really visibly tired, laboring over. Like he can push a solid wrestling pace throughout a whole 5-round fight. And he's been a champion for a good minute now, so I just feel like the wrestling is going to be the biggest factor in this fight. Cheick Kongo really, like I said, hasn't really shown no improvements to defend the wrestling, or no significant improvement at defending wrestling. And Ryan Bader is going to be putting that wrestling pace and that wrestling game on him the whole fight. I don't think Cheick Kongo is going to be game enough to really beat him. But if Cheick Kongo is going to have an avenue to victory, like I said, get those, like I'm not even haven't even said it yet, but if he has a path to victory, I would say it would be to get the underhooks and drop some, like slide some knees up there on Ryan Bader's body. Those probably going to be the hardest knees he's ever felt, hardest shots he ever took to his body, because Cheick Kongo probably all time, any division, probably top 5 like knee to the body arts. Like, you know, Overeem's number 1, but Cheick Kongo is up there with knees to the body. He'll also knee you in the nuts, but that's in the past. Or maybe it's still happening, but whatever the case is. He got some sharp knees. He knows how to land them. Real physical in the clinch if he can get those underhooks. But other than that, I really don't think Cheick Kongo has the most chance. It's not like his footwork is all that phenomenal. He's not that light on his feet that he can keep Ryan Bader at bay. And his timing with his shots really aren't all that phenomenal either, especially when you're going against a fighter that's lighter than you, faster than you. So I think his best chance is kind of defensive takedowns, get him to clinch and start landing some knees to the body. That's really his best chance. I don't think punches from the outside or anything from the outside is going to really work for Cheick Kongo, or try to counter Bader on the entry of his takedown. I think his best shot is to maybe just defend the takedown, initial takedown with some underhooks, then land some knees to the body. That's his best chance. But that's really, in my opinion, his only chance. I don't think submission-wise, I think Bader is a better grappler. Striking-wise, Cheick Kongo is the better striker, but this is MMA striking. So as far as that, being able to present the threat of takedowns, to land overhands, I think that's favors Ryan Bader. So I think it's going to be a lot of takedown attempts, a lot of fading takedown attempts and no overhands. I think when he gets on the ground, Cheick Kongo is a tough guy. He's a veteran. He's no slouch on the ground. So it's going to take a while to kind of set up that finish on him. I think as the fight goes on, kind of a similar pace, just playing out every round. I think eventually the third round, Bader's able to finally start to get some solid ground and pound on Cheick Kongo, and then get a submission. So in this fight, I got Ryan Bader via third round submission. And that concludes my fight predictions for some of the main card fights for Bellator 226, Bader versus Kongo. And as always, thanks for watching.